900 trillion bomb tickings. Discovery why the AI boom driving the tech stock retirement count could mirror dot.com, the crash industry, grand NVIDIA, Microsoft, AMD potential, facing 65% correction in 2026. This isn't via the money, money. It's understanding worrying sign the history keep repeat. Wall Street celebrities record high. See how overvaluation and unsustainable AI infrastructure spending and inflate earning expectation are creating the perfect storm for the next major market correction. So while the company leading the today AI revolution face the same fundamental problem with a broader down tech, the previous bubble, this means for your investment portfolio, understand this is pattern now could help you protect years saving before the market adjusts. So 900 trillion finance bomb, AI bubble. Okay. So in August 15, 1971, President Richard Nixon walked into the Oval Office for the televised Sunday night address that accidentally invent the largest unregulated market in human history. He didn't mean, but he's trying to saving the dollar. So actually, what he did was remove one anchor that had kept our financial system stable since the World War II. Within 2 years, group Chicago economics who figured out how to turn the result KR into the most profitable opportunity in modern finance. Think about it. This moment is the same as 1970 organized derivative market didn't exist. There was no place to trade a standardized bet on the currency, interest rate, stock price 5 years later. Had $1 billion derivative industry, its own exchange, mathematical formula, and regulatory approval. Today, the market has grown to somewhere between 700 and 900 trillions, depends on who counting. That is not a bubble that is appeared overnight. That is a machine that's been building the momentum for the 54 years. And it all started with one weekend. Camp David picture has the scene. Camp David, Maryland, August 15, 1971. The Nixon economic advisor gathered secret. The Treasury Secretary John Connet, Treasury Secretary John Carney is along with the Federal Reserve Chairman Arthur Burns and the Budget Director George Shultz. And those men are facing crisis, and most Americans don't even know it's happening. The world central bank are draining Fort Knox and exchange our dollars for gold and the guaranteed $35 per ounce rate, and that estimate that established Bretton Woods back in 1944. But France alone has poured $3.5 billion in gold since the 1965. So we are holding the 10 billion in gold back to the 80 billion in borrowing ahead dollars. So you don't need an economic degree to see the mathematics doesn't work. So Nixon made the call, closed the gold window, and Sunday night announced he called a temporary suspension of the dollar gold conversion, and that the temporary suspension has now lasted 54 years. Economics call, and the Nixon stock is within the weeks. Everything changed. Exchange rate floating, first time modern history. The British pound and the German mark and Japanese yuan, and all of them suddenly moving against the dollar in real time. So nobody know about the currency will be worth it tomorrow, which is mean every international contract just become the gamble. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people thought it would cost a KR, and it is. But not the kind of anyone expect. Is a group of economists, University of Chicago, saw something different. They saw opportunity, exchange the rate, and going to swine widely company, and would need to insurance against this swine. And if a company need to insurance, someone could sell them for the price. The Chicago, April 26, 1972, Chicago Board of Option exchange the open and the business convert to smoking lounge and the Chicago Board of the Trade building. They have 16 stock with the list of the option. First day, Boland 911 contract. Now option is themselves. It's not new, so people have been making the informal bet in the stock price decades. What was new was the standardization of the center clearing, and the CBOE was trading risk like a commodity. You could buy, sell, and open market. The exchange chairman of the Joseph Sullivan pitches to the public as insurance for the stock that sounded safe, reasonable. But there is what really happened is actually clients were not retail investors try to protect their portfolio. They were bank, multinational corporation, suddenly exposed to currency swine, and Nixon unleashes IBM sell the computer in German, with the Deutsche Mark be worth more or less when payment arrived. So in 90 days, option Lebanon locked the rate. So in December 1972, daily hit 20,000 contract exchange was printing machine. So in May 1972, something happened would change everything. Two University of the Chicago economics. By Fraser Black and the Myron Stowe, and published 50 pages paper. The Journal and Political Economic, and the title was Dry. The price options and the corporate liabilities, and that is paper was revolutionary. It gave the derivative trader and the mathematical formula and equations, and the trade derivative price like physics, elegant and scientific. Similarly, in the object taxes instrument program into the hundreds calculators within a month, and which is Black and school formula actually accomplishes faster. It turned fair gamble into the respectable and quantitative finance. Before the paper derivative was something bookie did in the back room. So after that, the paper bank could claim that derivative were scientifically priced instrument managed by the PhD and the formula would help Robert Merlin and collaborate with the Black and School and Julius and the Nobel win the Nobel Prize for Economics in 1997 would also contribute to the long-term capital management collapse exactly 1 year later. But the story is about the December 1975 Chicago Mercantile Exchange launches currency futures contract, standardized bet and exchange rates. The first tier trading volume reaches 11.3 billion national value. That is, product exists because the Milton Friedman, another University of Chicago economics, convinced the exchange chairman of the floating currency need to future market Leo Mannerman and the chairman of letters recorded. Friedman pitched currency will do for the international finance is grand features and marketed. So agricultures provide the price discovery and the risk transfer. Friedman was right. The market grew 300% of the annual through the later 70s. So now here's what you need to understand about this kind of moment in history. The derivative revolution didn't start with the deregulation or Wall Street greed. It started with the legitimacy Vulcan and then Nixon's served with a dollar gold link. He eliminated the anchor of the stabilized international commerce for the nearly 30 years. So market fear that the Vulcan was the derivative natural. So Vulcan is so the finance. The pattern emerges would repeat itself. Over the next 5 decades, the government would remove a stability mechanism and private market create profit opportunity from the resulting uncertainty. Finance innovations get its mathematics justify new. Infrastructure become the permanent by the 1980 organized derivative market. Totalize approximately 100 billion in the national value. So it sounds like a lot, but running error compared to days. What matters is the infrastructures build standardized contracts, center clearly house, and the mathematics price model. The regulatory pricing the Chicago Exchange even got the exemption from the gambling law. In the 1974 commodity futures, in the 1974 commodity future trading commissions, our government look at the derivative and isn't the gambling, it's the legitimate finance. The seed was planted and it was the came next, it wasn't the revolution. It was explosion and the people who understood the early, the one who built the exchange and the wrote the formula and the lobby for the exemption. They were about to become the most powerful force in our financial system. Between 1982 and 2000, something remarkable happened in our financial system. Congress passed 4 major pieces of the legislation as systematically remove every barrier of the derivative growth. So each law passed was bipartisan support. Each one sold to the American people. Modernization sold to the world. I can say competitiveness, crisis prevention, and each one opened floodgate. Little wider. The derivative market didn't just grow during the 18 years, exploded 100 billion at over 100 trillion. So The Southern vote increased, and every step was perfectly legal. Carefully, the lobby and the mathematics justified. Before we go further, you need to understand how the derivative contract actually work. Why bank to love them so much? Of course, they are million multiple times the reason. They manipulate the fiction market. Fiction market is fiction. So a derivative is bad, but loss is majority population, their pocket. See, derivative is bad of something else. Further value, a currency, an interest rate, a stock, a commodity, even another derivative, two-man type of the swap, which is private contract between the two parties, futures, which is centralized contract traded in the exchange. So here's a simply example corporation as a 100 million loan with the floating interest rate and less currency 5%. Gorize Corporation B has a 100 million loan fixed 6% rate. So the swapped payment obligation pay fixed 6%, pay the floating rate. So if the rate rise 8%, the win because log in the 6. So the rate 3%, B win. And then make sense, right? This is crucial details. Make everything is possible. 100 millions is what called to the national value. Is every actual exchange only different in interest payment exchange hand. This means that actually money is risk. Is a tiny fractions of the national amount. A 100 million swap might involve 3 million in annual payment and only 200,000 in real exposure. So this creates magical accounting. The bank balance sheet show to the trillion in derivative exposure, but the client hedge the low risk because the notional value isn't the real money. All regulators accept this logic, so the system grew in October 1982. The President Reagan signed the Gunstreet-Jamie Depository Institution Act. The public story and the law were revitalize housing industry, and most is deal with housing, Barry, and the section A05 is provision that change everything commercial bank can how engage swap transaction previously, and investment bank could broker derivative. Senator Jack Garland, one of the sponsors, later said its provision added to help the bank internationally. That sound patriotic helping American bank compete. But it's what happened next. JP Morgan Chase create first modern interest rate swap in 1982. So negotiating the deal between the World Bank and IBM swap worth about 210 million, less IBM convert to Swiss franc debt obligation into the dollar dominate payment. So JP Morgan fee and arranged is 100,000 US dollars. So think about it. The moment the bank just invented products required almost no capital, post minimized risk, and JP Morgan is generate pure profit in 1987. The interest rate swap market is about 866 billion in national value. So JP Morgan, Citibank, Banker Trust dominate the market, booking the tens of the million annually swapped. The machine was running the needed more fuel, and the fuel came from the special treatment under the bankruptcy law. So in 1995, Congress amended the bankruptcy code, Section 560, giving the directive contract special safe harbor. So what does it mean if your counterparty go bankrupt? As a directive holder can seize collateral immediately. So you don't wait in line with the other creditors. So you jump to the front of the lobby for the come from the International Swap and the Directive Associate ISDA short. So the founded 1985 12-month bank by the 1995 ISDA for the 345 members. Unprecedented access capital here. Their argument was the straightforward directive need bankruptcy the protection. The market will freeze in crisis. So the protect that system, but there is actually happened. The safe harbor made the directive more attractive, not safe. So banks increased their directive exposure because they were now accepted to create creditors in any bankruptcy. When Lehman Brothers collapsed in September 2008, so the directive holder seized 75 billion collateral before the bankruptcy process. So the regular creditors got the pennies on the dollars. So the law was supposed to prevent the crisis, actually rewarded the people who caused the problem. So now we come to the September 1998. The story important because it showed that people saw the dangers coming. Long-term capital management, hedge fund by the Nobel Prize winning economy, including the Mylon Schollers himself, co-creator of the famous price formula collapse. Spectacular, the founding the 125 billion asset control with the 4.8 billion capital in the 26 to the 1 leverages their directive position. Total is like $1.25 trillion national value. So when the Russia debt default in August 1998, the TCM mathematics model broke. The formula that was supposed to make the directive safe. Scientific failure completely. The Federal Reserve Bank of the New York organized a private bailout. For the 40 bank contributed $3.65 billion prevent LTCM from taking down the financial system. The bear stem and the notable and refused to participate. Decision would reverse their need bailout funding in 2008. The Congress hearing following LTCM collapse. So Federal Chairman Alan Greenspan testified that directive needed monitoring, said Senator Phil Graham, chairman of Senator Banking Committee. The only regulation was work as market regulation. So remember that the Phil Graham is about to become the very important our story. December 21st, 2000 is final hours. The Clinton administration, Congress sanctioned, and the Congress passed the Commodity Future Modernization Vice and the no regular individual vote. So 262 pages bill was added 11,000 pages of omnibus spending package. Omnibus spending packages most members of the Congress never read, but the directive industry is read every word because the written, most of them is key provision of the in non-Ruhold section 2H3, which exempt energies directive from the commodity futures trading commission oversight. So credit default swap, which is essential insurance against the bond default, were explicitly exempt for state insurance. So regulation under securities regulations, financial instrument was too important to regulate. The argument was the regulation cost and shadow uncertainty over the thriving market. The lobby was intense. Directive dealer was contribute 78 millions of the Congress campaign in the 1990 to 2000 cycle. So Treasury Secretary Larry Schumer testified in the favor of the bill. Senator Phil Graham, co-sponsor, guided through his committee. So here's an interesting detail about Senator Graham. His wife, Wendy Graham, had previously chaired the commodity futures, so trading commissions she helped exempt directive from the oversight during her tenure. So after leaving the government, she joined the board of the Enron, and that's she earned about $915,000. The salary in the stock sales between 1993 to 2001. So Senator Graham declared on the Senator floor the market are working better than any government regulation. So had the ever work in the market exploded, the over-counter the directive markets stood at 95.2 trillion in June 2000. By the December 2007, which is 596 trillion in the Commodity Future Modernization Act didn't create. Directive remove the last legal barrier, so unlimited growth. And look at the pattern across these 18 years. Easy help follow the same playbook. So crisis create urgency. Bank lobby Congress. Law had changed short-term profit follow. So bigger crisis coming later. So pattern didn't repeat. Random is accelerate each deregulation enable to more leverages, which is enable to more directive. Required deregulation prevent immediate collapse in 2001. The global directive market passed about 100 trillion and the notional value of infrastructures is it started with Chicago 1973, had become the dominant force in the global finance. And the beautiful part from the bank perspective was that is how had blessing the government. This is what were not shadow instrument anymore. They were essential tool for the risk management, backed by the Nobel Prize winning mathematical bipartisan legislation. The machine wasn't just running, it was accelerating despite mooring short from the long-term capital management. Despite Alan Greenspan's concern, despite obviously concentration of the risk, harmful to the major bank, nobody was going to stop it because by the year 2000, directive weren't just part of the financial system anymore. They were becoming the financial system itself, ETF. September 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed, and the world discovered that it's our largest bank holding the trillion directive exposure Nobody fully understands the Congress hold a hearing, and banker apologies President Obama promised to reform. The Dodd-Frank Act, passed in 2010, was promised to end up too big to fail, bring the directive under the control. Everyone agreed the directive caused the crisis, so we need to regulate the derivative. So that story tell ourselves here is actually happened. The derivative market doubled after crisis. Laws of reform was supposed to control the monster. They made stronger post-crisis regulation required standardized directive clearly to the center clearinghouse, which sounds safe until you realize that concentrating all the risk in building clearinghouse just create new too. So big fair institution reform didn't shrink the derivative market. In tragedy 2023, the Bank for the International Settlement report 715 trillion in outstanding the derivative. So some estimate put it over 900 trillion when you include all the off-balance sheet arrangement. The bank don't have to report. And let me show you what it's look like. The real world, because this isn't ancient history. This is happening right now. Affect our bank, our economy, our money. And March 10th, 2022, Silicon Valley Bank failed. You see, Silicon Valley, those are big tech, those are monopoly, the Google, Instagram, Telegram, what? Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon, NVIDIA, Intel, TSMC, so on. So second largest bank collapse in American history. Now is AI, Sam Altman, you see. They're closing together, you see. Those AI. AI is bubble, you see, the same as bubble, more bubble, you know what I mean. So NVIDIA absolutely is a bubble, because they will destroy the humanity, and the people become brainless. Okay, especially Tesla, okay, Bitcoin. Those are Tesla. So that's why now Trump, they investment in the cryptocurrency like a meme coin and the Dogecoin, some like bullshit, especially Elon Musk. This phony, fake billionaire, trillionaire is NVIDIA, fake trillionaire. You see, those are directive. Hey, when I learn those are spiritual commodity, I feel so strange. I feel just about 30 years ago, I learned this kind of commodity trade. Directive is S&P. It's absolutely big risk, but why those of people, they don't have risk because those are Wall Street, those are big lobby, those are, however, that's why behind the NVIDIA, those are shareholder, especially Tesla, you can see that those are Starlink, expects, those X, who own those behind, who those are stuck. You can see, easy, you see. But what didn't make the front page is Silicon Valley Bank had $27.7 billion directive, mostly interest rate swap, used to hedge the bond portfolio when the Federal Reserve raising rates 25% to the, you see, raise the rate 25% to the becomes 4.75%. 25% becomes about 5%, and between March 2022 to March 2023. You see lots of Microsoft lots of, it's phony, you see, because Microsoft Windows is patent and everyone on earth need to use them, and they certify the certificate. You see, they are not the government, they are private, Bill Gates, and they manipulate everyone computer. You see, they are like a mafia, and those patents we need to take back his patent now. It's not, his time is gone. We need to take back Microsoft patent, or especially those of Tesla, those of, fake Starlink, you see. They are manipulate Bitcoin. Those are fiction, and mostly loads of major player is young people, and they make easy money. They don't work hard. They don't work nothing. They don't work. These are play the game, play the money game, number game. I can tell you it's a number game, okay? So that's why now our world face those, economic inflection. Hey, who pay for them? Of course, it's people. Now it's globalized, so everyone pay for those of the phony cryptocurrency, blockchain, those of fake money, okay? And they take over. Trump take over those, Bitcoin market. So who is win? Everyone is lose. Only Trump family, Trump a liar, elite. Those are, Microsoft, those are, Elon Musk. Why he need Elon Musk there? You can see the criminal running out the global international finance system. Okay, so SVB deposit, including those above 25,000, FDIC limit, justification, Silicon Valley Bank directive, counterparty, including the major bank. So letting SVB fail, so normal bankruptcy, trigger, close the default, close the system. The same weekend, so those are, a platform, cryptocurrency platform, phony, those are young people, make easy money, You see, the same weekend, Signature Bank fair, then First Republic down. I will reduce the NVIDIA also stock 90% for sure, because they are overvalued, the reason, you see. And they're encouraging with the politician and the bribery, our Justice Department system, the court system. So the court work for the big corporation, the robbery to everyone. So the reason. The same problem, bigger October, because when I promote internet, because every company have their own software, but for uniform for life. That's why 1994, Sabri 94, become the was Microsoft. They use Microsoft for internet, major player, So that's why Bill Gates make profit for that, benefit for him. Those are Google, those are Facebook. Facebook is fully of the scammer, criminal. That's why we now have Prince Group now. Those are scammer, And they even control those are prostitution industry, you see. How dirty, how ugly those were, same problem, bigger. October 15, 2024, the treasury market is supposed to be the safe, most liquid market in the world, but experienced trader called a flash crash, 10 years treasury 10 years treasury yield swine 34%, you see. And who benefit? Microsoft, Amazon, also, Google, also monopoly, you see. 12 minutes from the 4.23%, 4.57%. That may not sound like much, but it represents 85 billion paper lost across the entire treasury market. You see now, Taiwan government is support Google monopoly. You see how those, even now, though, president now is disqualified now. Those president work for a big corporation. They not vote for major people, see? So those entire treasury market 12 minutes investigation revealed the trigger of the algorithm and trading the hedge fund using the directive leverage and the small move. You see, American people now disaster because for the Tesla, they lost a job, Amazon layoff, Facebook, so on, all the layoff because and Sam Altman, those fake AI, and NVIDIA, everyone lost job, and in NVIDIA, just 3 years, from 0 to the $5 trillion. This is crazy, you see. And government don't do not. Government promote for like Trump promote this kind of criminal, you see. Global criminal, we pay for that. Everyone pay for the NVIDIA. For what? For zero, for the, oh my God, for the fake AI, fake intelligence. I will not tell them this is artificial intelligence. They are fake intelligence, fake artificial intelligence, I can tell you, okay. Shame on you, okay. Small move on the overnight. Cause so from I report this, financial bomb, we're taken in 2026. We see and wait what's going to happen. International Settlement published a report December 24 showing the 72 trillion interest rate. 72 trillion, the interest rate, in the interest rate of the directive now held by the non-bank financial institution, pension fund, insurance company, hedge fund, and the treasury market. Moon expect directive meaning and the swine no reform. The Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen testified that the directive provide essential liquidities, risk management tools. So the market continued to June 2023. The Bank International Settlement released 7 directive statistics, and the numbers should grab attention. The total national outstanding about 715 trillions. Okay, 715 trillion. Let me break that down. Its interest rate contract make about 541 trillion. Foreign exchange contract about 105 trillion. Credit default swap in the 9.3 trillion. Equity linked to contract 8.5 trillion. Commodity contract in the 1.8 trillion is BIS, including footnote. Most people mass national value is gross, meaningful. Double count contract because every swap have 2 sides, the gross market value and actually replacement cost. All contracts settled today is 18.9 trillion. Now we didn't have a report from the theater, you see, theater at the net, see Coinbase, CoinDesk, theater, those bullshit, and at the net, those, meme coin, Dogecoin, bullshit. We need a lot of report because the money, especially go into their pocket, you see. So on. So still more than entirely economy of China. Here's China. We need to report this China. Okay, Last time I reported by those underground, 60 trillion yuan underground market, you see. 打水漂的就石沉大海，这个钱就石沉，因为 although 60 trillion yuan is not regulated, also no insurance. See, go to Lozo Bitcoin, the full bank control of the derivative market. The JP Morgan Chase hold of the 54.3 trillion in notional derivative. The Goldman Sachs hold about 1.6 trillion. A Citigroup is 46.2 trillion, and Bank of America is 30.8 trillion, and the combined those four banks is like 185.9 trillion derivative, represent 88% of the derivative held by the U.S. bank. Concentration has increased since 2008. Non-increase. So we didn't break up the bank. We made them more powerful. So actually win in this system is a major bank collect fee to every transaction, typically 0.05 to the 0.5%. How easy they make the profit money from everyone. And their notion of value, they might sound small, but when you're talking about a trillion, loads of small percentages add up. The JP Morgan Chase report 8.2 billion trading revenue in the second quarter 2004. So we talked about it recently. You see how the money shipped to the NVIDIA, to the Amazon, those are bullshit. Google, you see, those are monopoly. Because in 1994 I started promote internet worldwide. I never get a benefit, and I was promote the U.S. government treasury bond and Jenny Mae, Fannie Mae, you see. And I didn't get a profit for that. And those are phony, those are people stole my account, control my life. How dare, how terrible those are, economic, and those are rich group. They stole my account. And all the lawyer, they bribe all the lawyer. I hired a lot of international lawyers. They betrayed on me. Those bank betrayed on me, see. Especially Bank of America, they owe me money, okay. Hedge fund, yes, directive, leverage, amplify return fund with 1 billion can control 20 to 30 billion directive exposure, the directive cleaning. Or those bank, the North Bank, Norway Bank, Denmark Bank, see. That time is, when I work, that time the Federal Reserve is Alan Greenspan. Like hidden so many secrets because those are politicians, those are bullshit, those are worldwide corruption politician, the reason. So ICE process transaction collect fee for the both sides. So no matter you see, no matter you vote for the Democratic or Republic, those politicians, those Congress was benefit by themselves or their family. Even you vote for the Trump, Trump is benefit for their own money, especially those Saudi Arabic, the prince, and his daughter, Ivanka, the daughter, his daughter husband-in-law, see. They have benefit for that, you see. How shameful those of, transactions. And they create Gaza war because they want to take over the land, because they would be the Gaza. they make a war, people in suffering, and they make a benefit for the real estate property. So those politicians are criminal. You see, even Israel the same, those are not a war crime. So people in suffering, actually suffering is the Israel people and the Gaza and the Palestinian. And they won't take over the Gaza so they created a war, and after they take over the property, Blackstone, BlackRock, they take over. But now BlackRock have problem because their credit is collapsed. So I'm congratulation of them. Okay, Blackstone, they take over all the farmland, you see. So why American the farmland sold out to the China? Because Bill Gates headquarters is in China, Beijing. Okay, they are traitor. They are exactly because they benefit for that, and revenue. Obviously, let's talk about the loss because of the personal regular American pension fund, retail investor, directive portfolio insurance, typically exactly wrong time. CalPERS, California Public Employee Retirement System, lost 1.6 billion interest rate swap between the 2009-2019, according to state audit. Okay, those are you can see who benefit that. Okay, retirement. Those are retirement. So taxpayer provide implicitly payout guarantee. When directive exposure, those are trace a major bank, the regulator intervene prevent system risk. That's the languages they use, the systematic risk. And the small bank can complete without the directive death. We have a 4,800 bank in America. The bank is very easy bankrupt. You see, those are Silicon Valley Bank. You see, and you have the like a 4,800 bank American bank in America. So only 12 meaningful directive is operation. Base disadvantage of attracting corporate client demand hedge service. Think about for your personal, your saving account, your mortgage, your retirement fund. They're exactly within the system. You see, Trump for the for those house they want to extension to 50 years, but 50 years interest rate you will double. For example, for extension loan for 50 years for those housing, those are income, those are the investment in the real estate property. For example, if they pay the interest rate 100,000 becomes after 50 years it's double, 200,000. So normally it's like a house loan is like a real estate loan is like 20 years, 30 years. Of course, you want to early pay back to the bank. But it's not going to work because 80 by extension to, for example, if you 30 years you investment your house, your property, your home, and then after 50 years you pay back completed principal and the interest rate, but you double your, they're gonna double the price. And how is possible? You have to retirement in 60 years old, and 80 years you're not gonna you don't have work, so who gonna pay back? I don't think so. This is a good idea. However, the position of hedge, what does it mean is that mad offsetting bet. What is lots of bet only work in the counterparty can pay in the 2008. So when everyone needed to collect the hedge, the system frozen, the government stepped in, bayout, nothing fundamentally changed. So except number of the got a bigger number in 1975 crossing the gold window. Stabilize, we talk about gold, you know what I mean? So gold is supposed to stabilize, but probably now they remember Nixon 1971, closing the gold window, stabilized the dollar. But now Trump for the blockchain, for the Bitcoin, there was a meme coin, for the internet, the hedge, those are theater, those are phony, and they will confiscate all the Bitcoin, see? The international system stable nearly 30 years. The financial system replaced stabilities, directive private insurance against uncertainty. So 54 years later, the insurance market has become the new angle with 900 trillion monster. It's bubble about the burst. You see? Because I'm also the, one of the big mutual fund company in the world, I'm the power attorney. I handle some certain fund accounts. So, but the major I invest in gold fund. So it is time for me take back my fund. Okay, if somebody stole my fund, I'm a power attorney. Okay. I have to certify all the embassy in the world because according to Founder Reserve Bank 1934 Act, okay, and I'm the power attorney. See, so I wait and see the moment when I see the clear picture. The bubble without the collapsing building, the pattern Nixon accidentally start with the reaches logically conclusion the risk management system has become the largest risk. So insurance becomes more dangerous than being insured. Because without how can you insure those kind of risks? No insurance will do that. So four banks control 88% of the market. Too big to fail, too big to jail, too big to regulate. Effectively, they are not too big to because efficient, innovative, they are too big because let them write the law, made them too big. The machine started in the Chicago smoking legion in 1973. Those are corruption. Politician now largest all the stock market, all the bond market, all the real estate in the world combined, run by the mathematics formula, won for the Nobel Prize. I think our world don't need a Nobel Prize, those people at all, okay? We gave it a 0 prize for them, for manipulate our world banking, okay? We're placing our government side, center of the financial system. We didn't choose the system. It chose us a piece of legislation of the time. One crisis in the one time, pay out at the time. You don't need to pay out those rich bank, okay? The question is whether directives are good or bad. No good, I can guarantee you. It's phony. So they are permanent, essentially how the modern finance operate. The questions whether understand we build what is meant for economic features and truly benefit for the system. Everybody lost. You see the food price, multiple, everything is this and after in a pandemic, you see. Because Bill Gates create pandemic or economic fallen, okay. Understanding awareness, those are tools we have. So now we need the impeachment, those politician manipulate Bitcoin, okay? They will confiscate your gold and Bitcoin. Now it's a very dangerous time. We need against those oligarchs, those fake billionaire, trillionaire, NVIDIA, also Microsoft, also Facebook full of the criminal, okay? And Elon Musk is criminal. He is not the only Bitcoin criminal. He's a scammer. He's a 杀猪盘 criminal, pig criminal, okay? Elon Musk, he buy the YouTube, They are criminal. Big Tesla criminals, Tesla is criminal. X Space, also, NASA, also sponsor them, okay? Shame on you. Now our Supreme Court need to do something, and those are Justice Department, those are fake Justice Department. We have no Justice Department. Those are fake banking system, okay? Just number, fiction, okay? They're stupid. And also, those are 38 trillion debt created by them, And those are Treasury Department, new Treasury Department work for the Trump. He should resign now. We don't need this Bitcoin people, And 2025 European 2025 disaster, 28 trillion debt bond, and 2023 with depression, unemployment 9%, and November 2025 all-time high. So that's why 2026 market will crash. Why? 38 trillion debt. The Trump tariff will destroy. That's the reason. So those are politicians is criminal, okay? 900 trillion bomb tickets. Discovery why the AI boom driving the tech stock retirement count could mirror .com, the crash industry, granted NVIDIA, Microsoft, AMD potential, facing 65% correction in 2026. This isn't fear the money. It's understanding worrying sign the history keep repeat. Wall Street celebrities record high. See how overvaluation and unsustainable AI infrastructure spending and inflate earning expectation are creating the perfect storm for the next major market correction. So while the company leading the today AI revolution face the same fundamental problem with a broader down tech, the previous bubble, this means for your investment portfolio, understand this is pattern now could help you protect years saving before the market adjusts. So 900 trillion finance bomb, AI bubble, okay. So in August 15, 1971, President Richard Nixon walked into the Oval Office for the televised Sunday night address that accidentally invented the largest unregulated market in human history. He didn't mean, but he's trying to saving the dollar. So actually, what he did was remove one anchor that had kept our financial system stable since the World War II. Within 2 years, group Chicago economics who figured out how to turn the result KR into the most profitable opportunity in modern finance. Think about it. This moment is the same as 1970 organized derivative market didn't exist. There was no place to trade a standardized bet on the currency, interest rate, stock price 5 years later. Had $1 billion derivative industry, its own exchange, mathematical formula, and regulatory approval. Today, the market has grown to somewhere between 700 and 900 trillions, depends on who counting. That is not a bubble that is appeared overnight. That is a machine that's been building the momentum for the 54 years. And it all started with one weekend. Camp David picture has the scene. Camp David, Maryland, August 15, 1971. The Nixon economic advisor gathered secret. The Treasury Secretary John Connet, Treasury Secretary John Carney is along with the Federal Reserve Chairman Arthur Burns and the Budget Director George Shultz. And those men are facing crisis, and most Americans don't even know it's happening. The world central bank are draining Fort Knox and exchange our dollars for gold and the guaranteed $35 per ounce rate, and that estimate that established Bretton Woods back in 1944. The France alone has poured $3.5 billion in gold since the 1965. So we are holding the $10 billion in gold back to the 80 billion in foreign held dollars. So you don't need an economic degree to see the mathematics doesn't work. So Nixon made the call, closed the gold window, and Sunday night announced he called a temporary suspension of the dollar gold conversion, and that the temporary suspension has now lasted 54 years. Economics call, and the Nixon stock is within the weeks. Everything changed. Exchange rate floating, first time modern history. The British pound and the German mark and Japanese yuan, and all of them suddenly moving against the dollar in real time. So nobody know about the currency will be worth it tomorrow, which is mean every international contract just become the gamble. Here's where it's get interesting. Is most people thought it would cost KR, and it is. But not a kind of anyone expect is a group of economists, University of Chicago, saw something different. They saw opportunity, exchange rate, and going to swine widely company, and would need to insurance against this swine. And if a company need to insurance, someone could sell them for the price. The Chicago, April 26, 1972, Chicago Board of Option exchange the open and the business convert to smoking lounge and the Chicago Board of the Trade building. They have 16 stock with the list of the option. First day, Boland 911 contract. Now option is themselves. It's not new, so people have been making the informal bet in the stock price decades. What was new was the standardization of the central clearing, and the CBOE was trading risk like a commodity. You could buy, sell, an open market. The exchange chairman of the Joseph Sullivan pitches to the public as insurance for the stock that sounded safe, reasonable. But there is what really happened is actually clients were not retail investors trying to protect their portfolio. They were bank, multinational corporation suddenly exposed to currency swine, and Nixon unleashes IBM sell the computer in German, with the Deutsche Mark be worth more or less when payment arrived. So in 90 days, option Lebanon locked the rate. So in December 1972, daily hit 20,000 contract exchange was printing machine. So in May 1972, something happened would change everything. Two University of the Chicago economics by Fraser Black and Myron Stone, and published 50 pages paper, the Journal and Political Economics. The title was Dry. The price options and the corporate liabilities, and that is paper was revolutionary. It gave the derivative trader and the mathematical formula and equations and the trade derivative price like physics, elegant and scientific. Similarly, in the object taxes instrument program into the hundreds calculators within a month, and which is Black and School formula actually accomplishes vast. It turned fair gamble into the respectable and quantitative finance. Before the paper derivative was the something bookie did in the back room. So after that, the paper bank could claim that derivative were scientifically priced instrument managed by the PhD, and the formula would help Robert Merlin and collaborate with the Black and School and Julius, and the Nobel win the Nobel Prize Economics in 1997 would also contribute to the long-term capital management collapse exactly 1 year later. But the story is about the December 1975 Chicago Mercantile Exchange launches currency futures contract, standardized bet and on exchange rates. The first tier trading volume reaches 11.3 billion national value. That is product exists because the Milton Friedman, another University of Chicago economics, convinced the exchange chairman of the floating currency need to future market Leo Mannerman, and the chairman of letters recorded Friedman pitch currency will do for the international finance is grand features and marketed. So agriculturists provide the price discovery and the risk transfer. Freeman was right. The market grew 300% of the annual through the later 70s. So now here's what you need to understand about this kind of moment in history. The derivative revolution didn't start with the deregulation or Wall Street greed. It started with the legitimacy Vulcan and then Nixon's served with a dollar gold link. He eliminated the anchor of the stabilized international commerce for the nearly 30 years. So market fear that the Vulcan was the derivative natural. So Vulcan is so the finance, the pattern emerges would repeat itself. Over the next 5 decades, the government